Hey guys, this is Lucas from Better Coding Academy, and in this video I will be showing you how to get started with Webpack. Specifically, let's have a look at using Webpack with React and getting the whole thing set up from the very beginning. We have looked at using Parcel before in the past, but personally speaking, the reason I don't like to use Parcel is because I find that Parcel sometimes can be too restrictive, especially for larger scale projects. So whenever I'm building something in production and it's going to be quite sizable, I always prefer to use Webpack. So let's jump straight into it. I've got an empty project right over here, and what we're going to do is just first set up a package JSON file like this, and I'm going to install as dev dependencies. So -D is for dev dependencies here. We're going to add in Webpack, Webpack CLI, and also Webpack dev server. So now that it's finished, let's open up package JSON and let's just minimize the terminal here for a second. And now you notice we have Webpack, Webpack CLI, and Webpack dev server. So Webpack is the main one, and we have Webpack CLI, which is used by Webpack to some degree, probably regarding the command line interface. And we also have Webpack dev server, which we use to set up a local development server. And I'm going to show you how to do that. So now let's set up a few more files over here on the side. Let's create a new file inside of src and call it index.html as always. And we're just gonna put it in a basic HTML document, something like this, and I'll just call it Webpack Quick Start Guide or something like that. And let's go here, put in a div for our React root, and then script src equals /, and we're going to write bundle.js. So this is the file name that Webpack typically likes to use for the whole bundle, is it's just called bundle.js. So that's kind of a convention thing, but it obviously can be changed. With Webpack, pretty much anything can be changed, and I'll show you that in just a second. So now that we have this file here, we are going to create a new file, and we're not going to call it bundle.js. We're actually going to call it index.js here like this. And let's just put in a really simple one like this. Import React from React, import render from React DOM, and we're going to do render h1 hello Webpack, and let's render it directly into this div that we've created. So document.getElementById app. So if you've seen my Parcel video, you'll notice that this bit of the syntax is essentially the same between Parcel and Webpack, and that is because this constitutes what's inside of our application. The only real difference between Parcel and Webpack is in how we set up the configuration. So for Webpack here, we'll need a new file that we're going to call webpack.config.js, and I get a nice little pretty icon here for that as well. And what we're going to write inside of here is firstly module.exports, and we're going to export an object which is going to be our configuration. So there are a couple of things here which are incredibly important. The first one is the entry point. So the entry point for our app is not index.html. The entry point is actually index.js. So Webpack doesn't specifically care about index.html here. So we're going to link it directly to index.js. And the way I like to personally do that is firstly import the path module like that, the built-in path module, and then do path.resolve, and then __ dir name, which is a built-in global representing the directory name of this file. And then we're going to do ./src/index.js. So the reason we do this is because this will give us an absolute path relative to this webpack.config.js file, because that's what we're using here. So then from this directory, we go into src and then into index.js. So now that we have this, we also need to create something else, and that is called output. So now let's have a look at the options here for output on the Webpack documentation. This is something which you should become very familiar with. Because there are so many options, it can be really hard to remember everything all the time. So this is a great way to just keep yourself up to date on all of that. So we have output here, and we have file name bundle.js, like I was saying, and we also have the path to which we should output. So by default, this is a dist, and the default name here is also bundle.js. So we actually don't need to specify any of this, but what we can do now is we can actually specify a section on dev server. So this part here is for the development server, and we're going to add that in now. So now let's try dev server over here. And inside of dev server, we need to include a few things. Firstly is history API fallback is true. This is necessary for React. And the way that it works is it basically means that if we have a URL that isn't the base URL, so for example, when we first start up the dev server, it'll take us to say localhost 8080, but then we might be using React Router and we might go to another page, for example, /post/1. But then if we try to reload this page, if we don't include this line, we will get a 404 error because it cannot find this file here. But by putting this in, it redirects all of them to index.html, which allows all of them to be captured by React. And now that we have that, let's try saving it and let's see how this goes for us. So we have index.html, index.js. Now, one thing Webpack does not do, which Parcel does, and I find to be really handy, is that it does not install any dependencies for you. So for example, it will not install React and it will not install React DOM in this situation. It will simply error. So what we're going to do is do yarn add React and React DOM like that. And now we're also going to just add in a script here. Once I minimize that thing, I'm going to go here and do scripts. And we're going to add in the watch script, which is going to go to Webpack dev server. And I like to use -- progress, which shows us the progress, and save that, open this up again, and let's type yarn watch. So now that we've done that, you'll notice that we're getting an error. And this error says, module parse failed unexpected token. You may need an appropriate loader to handle this file type. So this is a concept in Webpack, which is very, very different to Parcel. Parcel out of the box will support a whole bunch of loaders and a ton of different languages. But in the case of Webpack, you have to add in support for them yourself. So now let's go back into here, cancel that real quick, go to package.json, and let's add in here, yarn add -d, capital D, at babel /core, at babel /preset env, at babel /preset react, and we also need the babel loader. So now let's try adding this. The first three here, at babel /core, preset env, and preset react, are specifically for Babel, and the Babel loader is specifically for Webpack. So this one kind of does the interactions between Babel and Webpack, and then Babel itself does the kind of compilation and translation of all of our code. So now that we've done that, let's go back into webpack.config.js, and let me just consult the docs real quick. The one we have to use is called module and rules. So we're going to go here and we're going to type module and then rules. And we're going to specify a single rule here for all JavaScript files. Say you wanted to support other file types like PNG and whatever, then in that case, you would add a separate rule for that. But in this case, we're only looking to do it for .js. So now inside of these curly braces here, we're going to write test, and we're going to do / and then .js. So this is a regular expression, meaning ending in .js. And then if this is the case, then we will use Babel loader. So you just write it like that. And now we save this, and let's try this one again. So hopefully this one should work this time, and we are getting another error. So now this I completely forgot to do, which is I forgot to configure Babel. Now, you've got to notice the difference between this error and the error we had last time. The last error we had here is relatively common, and it says you may need an appropriate loader to handle this file type. So we need a loader for that, and now we've added in Babel loader. But now the error we're getting here is different, and this error comes from Babel loader, which is that this token here is unexpected. And the reason this is unexpected is because this is JSX syntax, which Babel can only understand if we include the React preset. So now we're going to go here and create a new file, call this one babel.config.js. And inside of this file here, we're going to do module.exports. And this is not syntax which is unique to Webpack. This is syntax which is specifically for Babel. But like I said, Webpack does not contain many configuration options out of the box. So you have to do a lot of the manual lifting yourself. Inside of here, we're going to do presets, and we're going to add in the two presets we had, at babel /preset env, and then at babel /preset react. And we're going to save, and then we are going to open this back up, Control-C this, and try again. So now you see it says compiled successfully, and this one is running at localhost 8080. So now let's go over here, go to that URL, and you'll notice that we get an error on our page, which is kind of weird. It says cannot get /. Now the reason it says that is this is a dev server configuration option. It is actually trying to look inside the dist directory where it expects the index.html to be located. But what we can do is we can change that, click on dev server here, and let's go down. And the option that we need to add is content base. So content base here is essentially where our index.html is being located. So we're going to go back into webpack.config.js. We're going to write in content base, and we're going to do path.resolve __dir name /src. So that's where our index.html file is. So now that we've done that, let's try this again. You'll notice as well that Webpack takes quite a fair bit longer than Parcel, and the reason for that is because Parcel does a lot more caching, and it has a cache directory here as well, whereas Webpack does not have that. So now we've got that, let's refresh over here, and we are getting an empty page. Now that definitely isn't what we're looking for. We have our file called bundle.js, but it's not showing on the page. I think that might be because I did not put in the output name. So if I go back into configuration, and we go check our output here should specifically write in bundle.js. So now let's try adding in this section of code, go down here and write in output file name bundle.js and try this one more time. And let's go here, refresh, and it works just fine. So as you can tell, there is quite a fair bit of configuration we have to do in order to get Webpack working. So we have the Babel configuration, which is for Babel loader, which then is for compiling the JavaScript and the React code, JSX. We have the dev server, which is for running the development server locally. We have the entry file here, and various rules and also various configuration for the output. Typically, this is quite a short Webpack configuration file. For a typical project, usually you're looking at about 60, 70 lines minimum, and sometimes different configuration for the development and also production environments. But the benefit of this is that you have a lot more control over exactly what you want to do. But the downside is that you have to learn it and you have to put in the time and the effort to properly understand what is going on. I hope that this video has been helpful for helping you getting started with Webpack. This has been Lucas with Better Coding Academy, and see you guys later.